So we'll start this afternoon's workshop with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Aviola.
Evie, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay.
Perfect. Yes. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Vice Mayor, if I can just take roll call really quickly. And just for the public's benefit, even though there's no quorum required for workshops, we still take roll call just to know for the record who's in attendance. So Commissioner Stuyvesant?
Here.
Commissioner Vizcarra?
Here.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Here.
Commissioner Lama is running late, and Mayor Svechin is not present, so we have 3 members. So the first item on the agenda is special presentations. 2A is an introduction to the graduated police canines. This is by the police chief.
Good afternoon, honorable elected officials and city manager. I would like to call up our newly canine team. You guys can come up. So I stand before you today with immense pride and honor to recognize the outstanding achievement of our dedicated officers and their four-legged partners, Officer Gabriel Martinez to the far left and his canine partner Nitro, and Officer Michelle Martinez to my right, actually to the far right, and his canine partner Echo. Their commitment and unwavering dedication to service had led them through a rigorous 480 hours of canine patrol training, a testament to their perseverance and passion for ensuring the safety and security of our community. Moreover, I am thrilled to announce that Nitro will soon attend specialized explosive training, while Echo will embark on rigorous narcotics training. This advancement exemplifies their continuous pursuit of excellence in law enforcement, further enhancing our capacity to combat evolving threats and keep our neighborhoods safe. These remarkable individuals exemplify the values of diligence, integrity, and courage in their new roles as canine handlers. Their bond with their canine partners, Nitro and Echo, embodies teamwork, loyalty, and the finest traditions of law enforcement. As your police chief, it is crucial for us to acknowledge and celebrate such remarkable achievements within our law enforcement community. Our handlers and their canine partners represent the very best of our commitment to public safety and community well-being. Let us extend our heartfelt congratulations to Officers Gabriel Martinez, Nitro, Michelle Martinez, and Echo for their exceptional dedication and for their upcoming specialized training. Their unwavering service and sacrifice contribute significantly to the betterment of our society, and I would like to thank everyone up here, our elected officials, our manager's office, for making this evening possible.
Well, thank you as well.
Picture time.
Yes, picture time. Okay. You're up next, Fabiola.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 2B, accepting a certificate of appreciation presented by the International Checkers Association of North America.
Okay. Sonya's Beach resident Alex Rudnitsky participated in the Chess USA Open 2023 and became champion of the United States. In his communication from October 26, 2023, he expressed his gratitude and desire to present the City of Sonya's Beach with a certificate of appreciation as a token of their appreciation for our participation and support. The certificate of appreciation is being presented on behalf of the International Checkers Association of North America. Please, Mr. Alex.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, the mayor and commissioner of our city, I am very glad to see you all today in this place. As you know, from October 15 to October 22 in our beautiful city, Sunny Beach, we held an international US Open tournament and USA Checkers Championship among many people which visited our country. Many different, very strong players from all countries and many countries and continents from North and Southern America, Africa, Europe, and Asia take participation in this tournament. As you know, we held this tournament in Newport Beach Hotel in wonderful Tiffany Hall. Tournament was very strong and had very high sports level. I became the champion of United States 2023, and I'm very proud and very glad that this trophy will stay in our city. All players was very satisfied our tournament, our competition, and especially they liked our beautiful city. And now different players from many countries write to us that they to thank our great country and our beautiful city for warm welcome, and want to ask us to make next US Open tournament and championship 2024 in our city. I want my behalf and behalf of our Checkers Federation to thank our mayor and all our commissioner for your supporting this idea and supporting develop chess and checkers in our city. And behalf of our Checkers Federation, I want to present this certificate of appreciation for our city. Thank you so much. is it Alex Axelrod? Alex Axelrod. It is resident our city. He is very, very strong chess player, and he was main referee our US Open tournament previous year.
The next item on the agenda is 2C, a proclamation presented for International Day of Tolerance 2023.
Okay, so today, November 16, is the International Day of Tolerance. So, the International Day of Tolerance is observed to emphasize the significance of tolerance and acceptance among people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, religions, and beliefs. It highlights the principles of human rights and freedoms outlined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which include the right to live without facing discrimination and bias. Tolerance plays an important role in creating peaceful and inclusive societies by encouraging individuals and communities to appreciate differences, engage in constructive conversations, and resolve conflicts peacefully. This day also raises awareness about the ongoing challenges related to intolerance and discrimination worldwide, urging individuals and governments to take concrete steps towards fostering a more equitable and accepting world for everyone. So for this proclamation, I'm inviting the president of the Christian Family Coalition, Anthony Verdugo, to receive it. I've been having the opportunity to go to the National Day of Prayer for the last few years, and what I love the most is that we have in the same table Catholic priests, rabbis, imams, Christians, all together for the same one goal: tolerance, being together, and just to pray. So, Anthony, thank you very much for promoting that tolerance, and I want to give you the, if you want to say a few words. I know you have a big, I know he has a big call, so sorry, again, another picture. Unless you guys want to say something, Vice Mayor or Commissioner Vizcarra.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for promoting a working relationship between all religions, and it's so what we need right now in this world. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, if you can just stay there, because the next two items have okay, so the representatives that will accept the next proclamation are not here, so we're going to push that until they're here present.
Okay.
So the next item on the agenda is item 2E, which is the photo contest winners for the 2024 desktop calendar.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Honorable Vice Mayor and Commission. Each year, the City of Sunny Isles Beach holds a photo contest asking residents and visitors to submit their best photos showcasing the beauty of Sunny Isles Beach. This year, 17 photos by 13 photographers were selected and are featured in our 2024 desktop calendar. While not all of the submissions we receive can be featured, many you will see throughout the upcoming year on our website, our publications, and on our social media. I would like to recognize Elvira Gatina, our city's graphic designer, who did a wonderful job designing this year's calendar, Vanessa Vieira, who puts in a lot of work managing the contest, and Francesca Constantini for contributing editorially. So I'm going to call each winner's name, and when you hear your name, you can come up to the front for your award and stay here so we can all take a photo. So our first cover photo is by Noam Tal. Born and raised in Miami, Noam is a talented photographer whose work has been featured in magazines, on local news, and now in our Sunny Isles Beach calendar. Our introduction page is by Luis Dantes. Luis is an actor, photographer, and civil engineer. He enjoys taking pictures of theater plays, the arts, and wildlife. Don't go.
Hold on.
You can stay up and we'll take a photo at the end. Sorry. It's going to come at the end with a group photo. Yeah, thanks. January is by Kaglar Guzel. Kaglar is a resident of Sunny Isles Beach who has enjoyed capturing the atmosphere of the city through photographs. His goal for this photo was to reflect the dreamlike beauty of Sunny Isles Beach. February is by Raisa Brito. Born in Cuba, Raisa is a wife, mother, and new grandmother, as well as a cosmetologist. She studied photography for 10 years and loves to capture priceless moments. March is Carmen Diaz. Carmen is a wife, mother, and grandmother who enjoys capturing scenic views with her camera. April is Sergio Rodriguez Escobar. Sergio is a professional photographer who travels everywhere with his camera. He has made his passion his profession. May is Jimmy Bykovicius. Born in Uruguay, Jimmy was interested in photography from a young age. While studying engineering, he took a black and white photography workshop, and today thousands of his photos are featured in books, movies, museums, and newspapers. June is by Greg Alanis. Greg is a construction project manager that enjoys taking pictures in his spare time. July is Johan Alzate Torres. Johan is from Colombia and studied photography after moving to the US. He enjoys taking pictures of our city's architecture, nature, and beaches. And August is also another photo by Johan Alzate Torres. 2 in a row.
Okay. Excellent.
September is Dexter Matias Prado Zambrano. Born in Ecuador, Dexter moved to Florida at 6 years old. He has lived in Utah, Texas, and eventually came back to Sunny Isles Beach, which has given him the opportunity to take photos across the country. October is another photo by Jimmy Bykovicius. November is Moses Ban. Moses is a Sunny Isles Beach resident and professional photographer who owns his own photography business. December is another photo by Raisa Brito. Yeah.
Okay.
The photography page is by Leonardo Escobar. Leonardo is a realtor and photographer who enjoys blending urban landscapes with nature. He says capturing Sunny Isles Beach at twilight was a fantastic way to showcase its beauty. Our Connect With Us page is Peter Goldenberg. Born in Brazil, Peter moved to the U.S. in 2009. Sunny Isles Beach has been his family's home ever since. He says he loves living in a modern, safe, and family-friendly city. And our last end
Good
page
job,
is
Peter.
another photo by Noam Tal. So Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commission, if you want to come down so we can all take a group photo.
Yes, sure. That's what I was waiting for.
We also have calendars in the back of Commission chambers, so you can all take one when you leave tonight. And they will also be available at all of our city facilities beginning tomorrow morning. Thank you to everyone for participating. We appreciate it every year. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 2F, a presentation on the city's building department office needs, space needs, and services.
Vice Mayor, yes, we'll wait for a minute for them to clear out. Yeah. Vice Mayor, members of the commission, I want to give a brief introduction of Shelley and how we came to work with Shelley in the building department. For a number of months, we have been trying to hire an assistant building official for the building department. And we've had some challenges, especially now with everything happening. It's very difficult to find and hire assistant building official as well as inspectors, plan reviewers, and we've been working diligently on the building department, doing an overall review of our process to look at improvements and efficiencies. So what happened is I reached out to some of my colleagues looking for a referral of someone that can come in and assist us. And I made contact with Shelley, explained some of the challenges that we had, and asked Shelley to come on board in the role of assistant building official. And Shelley may also act as the building official should the need arise. Not soon after that, our building official was out on medical leave, and Shelley acted in the capacity of the assistant building official and filling in for us. So as part of the direction I asked or gave to Shelley was to please, while you're there, review our building department, look at our processes, see where we can make improvements and efficiencies. Shelley was at that time working for the city of Hollandale Beach doing something very similar. So she's been here for a number of months working with us, and I asked her to present to you some of her findings regarding the building department. So with that, I'll ask Shelley to present to you.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, Commission. As you stated, I'm Shelley Ransom Jackson. Huh? Okay.
But go ahead, do your introduction.
So, you know, as with many coastal communities in South Florida, Sunny Isles Beach has definitely adjusted, actually more innovatively than most, to changes. And the approach that we took was grounded in having a thorough understanding of the ever-evolving needs of the city. So a little bit about myself. I have over 20 years, actually closer to 25 years of experience. I've been a general contractor for almost 25 years now. I've been in local government for about 22 of those. And so I have expertise with all matters relating to the building department, having been a building official in multiple jurisdictions throughout the state of Florida. And I really enjoyed being here. I've actually known Clay for probably the majority of those 22 years. So it's enabled me to really look at Sunny Isles Beach more comprehensively into the needs, both the existing as well as, you know, what's anticipated. So I have a deep understanding of the intricacies in this industry, having lived through it. And of course, I have a very varied background. I have an MPA, so I have my master's in public administration. I've been on the owner's side, so I've been in the private sector before coming to the public sector. Excuse me, code enforcement. So I look at the building department holistically to include not only building, but how their interaction with code compliance, code enforcement, engineering, zoning. So I look at everything comprehensively, but again, my specialty is building department services. So my accomplishments, I was the Development Services Director for Miami Gardens for 7 years, and with that, I participated in the sale and development of a lot of the substantially owned, city-owned properties, managed multi-million-dollar projects for the city. Excuse me. Of course, I've worked at various jurisdictions. I mentioned Miami Gardens, but I was also at Miami-Dade County, Biscayne Park, City of Hallandale Beach. And many of these are in the capacity of, the majority were in the capacity of building official, which I was brought in for the same reason, is to identify where we can improve and look at processes and you know, just try to improve them as best we can. So I have multiple certifications, building code administration. I'm a plans examiner and an inspector, and as I said before, a general contractor. I've served on several boards. Currently, I am on the Construction Trades Qualifying Board for Miami-Dade County. I also serve on the Small Business Advisory Board for the county, past president of the Building Officials Association, both in Broward and Miami-Dade County. And, excuse me, I am a building official. I also have, I also am the owner of a, excuse me, getting over some asthma, I apologize. And then, of course, I am involved, I'm really engaged in the South Florida community. I serve on the Salvation Armies of Miami Advisory Board, and the vice chair of their property committee. So my dedication is to South Florida, and now, most recently, Sunny Isles Beach. Yeah, are we up yet? 'Cause
We are not, so if you just want to go over it verbally, and if
Okay.
she pulls it up.
Okay, all right. So, as we know, Sunny Isles Beach, which is nestled along, of course, this pristine coastline, it's a city that has a really rich history that's been remarkably transformed over the decades. The housing landscape, much like the city itself, has evolved to cater to the diverse needs of the residents, businesses, and as well as the visitors. So if you had seen the presentation, I sort of walked through a timeline outlining the 1920s, where the beach was envisioned and developed as a premier tourist resort. And during this era, the city featured hotels, accommodations designed specifically to cater to the influx of vacationers, embodying the essence of a resort-style property development. And moving into the 1950s, it marked a significant shift as was witnessed the construction of the very first single-family homes. And in this era, we saw an emergence of residential neighborhood characterized by charming detached houses, signifying the city's growing appeal as a place for families to call home. And then, of course, we can go through the 50s and 60s, where we saw the growth of Motel Row. And in the early 2000s, it ushered in major redevelopment phase that transformed Sunny Isles Beach landscape tremendously. Excuse me. So that's when we started seeing the high-rise condominiums begin to grace the skyline along Collins Avenue, replacing the historic motels. Perfect, wonderful, thank you. So that was me, and so just walking through this. So throughout this transformative journey, Sunny Isles Beach remained committed to serving its heritage. And this city meticulously restored and preserved historic sites with the iconic Sunny Isles Pier being a shining example. Today it stands as a symbol of dedication to bridging the gap between the past as well as the present. And today, the city boasts a diverse housing stock that includes hotels and resorts, single-family homes, motel-style accommodations, and awe-inspiring high-rise condominiums. And this transformation reflects the ever-evolving demands of tourism and development in this highly sought-after coastal community. And as elected officials, I believe your insight and support will definitely be invaluable in addressing the unique challenges and opportunities that have accompanied the diverse housing landscape. And I've done an assessment of our needs and have a series of recommendations on how to best proceed. So we have an opportunity here. An analysis unveiled just simply means for operational efficiency. Simply means for operational efficiency and improved customer service satisfaction amidst a vibrant development and legislative landscape of the city. Assessing current challenges in order to better anticipate the future needs has provided a roadmap to navigate the city's historic permitting activity as we deal with ever-evolving developmental and legislative dynamics, all while aspiring for an easier, transparent experience for residents and businesses. So, what do we have here? We have a perfect storm of conditions. And that's what every growing city experiences throughout changing times. We have high-functioning governments are able to exist, anticipating the various bans, while most vulnerable. The duality that, excuse me, that rapid expansion presents during this period also intensifies our conditions. On one hand, we have those that believe that the city will always be on top, and making reductions in the form of fees or taxes to the populace may seem reasonable. On the other hand, are those who experience the downturned times and urgency in which finances were maintained as a result. Shrewd cities navigate through challenging times by embracing the dynamics to be prepared for the lulls so that they can deliver optimal services, as if being in the eye of the storm. With each passing phase, though, be it new construction or renovations, the city's life cycle generates permitting activity, reflecting the community's ever-evolving needs. Excuse me. Over the past decade, the city has showcased, oh, sorry, thank you. Excuse me, over the past decade, the city showcased its commitment to financial agility by reducing the millage rate for 11 consecutive years. Such forethought allowed us, or you all as a commission, to balance offering essential services with fiscal responsibility even as the population swells. A testament to the economic prowess is the $2.2 billion surge in assessed value over the last year. Beyond just numbers, it signifies the city's appeal to businesses and homeowners and underscores the ethos of sustained financial judiciousness as evidenced by over a decade-long trend of reducing the millage rates. The building fund, currently at approximately $3.6 million, embodies the heartbeat of the city. Excuse me, projected at a 4% growth in the 2022-23 building fund budget, mirrors the city's relentless forward momentum and its increased service demands. With every new project or renovation, permitting and inspections play a vital role in capturing the city's essence because of the robust development activity in recent years. There are those who fear what will happen when the interest dissipates. On the other hand, there are yet those who believe too much activity has occurred and the city should instead look to refund fees. In Sunny Isles Beach, we're crafting an epic tale of smart growth and evolution through shrewd financial strategies, efficient use of resources, and a keen eye on legislative nuances. You have to be ready for the dynamic development cycles. We're not just building, we are anticipating, we are growing, and we are thriving. Over the past 20 years, the building department's permit issuance and inspections activities remained consistent, even during the economic downturn in 2008-2009, and at the height of COVID-19 in 2020. Between 2020 and 2023, there have been no new large-scale projects in the city, and the building department still issued an average of 5,357 permits, irrespective of COVID-19. During economically challenged years, building departments generally experience increase in home improvement projects, as represented by these consistent figures. They're a little small, and they're probably on your presentation, but I must commend the current staff for doing a yeoman's job of maintaining the level of production. However, I must caution you that burnout among staff is extremely high when required to consistently perform at this high level. Therefore, the numbers you see here support the need for additional staff to increase the level of service to residents and businesses and provide much needed relief for the current staff. The last few years, we've witnessed a remarkable construction renaissance in South Florida. This resurgence has been fueled by the perfect storm of factors, including a robust real estate market, ambitious infrastructure initiatives, and a rising need for both residential and commercial properties. While this growth has undoubtedly brought prosperity to the region, it has not been without its share of challenges, particularly in the realm of staffing within the building industry. Florida's construction boom has led to an increased demand for building inspectors and plan reviewers. The statewide labor shortage, especially in the construction sector, is exacerbating this demand, as many inspectors and plan reviewers are also licensed contractors. These professionals, with their dual expertise, might be drawn into hands-on construction roles due to the boom, further depleting the pool of available inspectors. Additionally, we also have supply chain disruptions add complexity to the projects, necessitating more frequent and detailed inspections. Thus, the construction surge and labor challenges are contributing to a potential shortage in municipal building inspectors and plan reviewers. Our current needs here are apparent as the current level of service is inadequate for residents and businesses. During the first 6 months, excuse me, during the first 6 months of 2023, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I was right. Let me make sure. Yes, all right, that's it. Okay, just making sure I was reading the right one. All right, so during the first 6 months of 2023, a substantial number of calls, incoming calls, there were 28,000, I'm sorry, a substantial number of calls went unanswered. The number is, we had a total of incoming calls of 42,712 calls came in the first 6 months. Of that 42,000, 28,330 were unanswered, leading to a diminished standard of customer service. This is made worse when current physical space challenges prevent optimal service. From a convenience standpoint, though, there are inefficiencies. The building department presently occupies roughly 1/3 of the third floor, and the third floor is 5,200 square feet, sharing this area with code compliance, planning and zoning, IT, and the police department. Plan reviewers and inspectors face significant workspace limitations, as well as a palpable lack of privacy essential for plan assessment. And from a life safety standpoint, the metric that all codes are designed to ensure, we are exacerbating a hazardous situation. So, forecasting needs as the landscape consistently shifts is only possible by utilizing a conservative dynamism. Since the Surfside tragedy, as what happens after other notable catastrophes, the state of Florida adjusted the codes and the legislation. Most notably, Senate Bill 4D aimed to improve Florida condominium safety, yet while inadvertently straining local municipalities due to the ambiguous guidelines. There is also a potential for increased inspections, assessments, and verifications, driving up costs for everyone, not just residents, but for the cities as well. There are some possible economic displacement and condominium terminations, while there exists, a real need for more training and resources. And so that is what this slide represents, are the anticipated needs that Sunny Isles Beach has, or the current needs, rather. Please note that Sunny Isles Beach housing consists of 62% multifamily properties. The resource allocation is crucial for the future, and one better way to ensure the city is aligned with best practices, that is for the building department to become accredited. Through accreditation, which is one of the recommendations, is the building department gets accredited, but through accreditation, the building department will ensure public safety through best practices and confirms department competence with national standards. And some of the key benefits of accreditation is, one, that there will be only, right now, there are only 4 departments in Florida and 25 worldwide are accredited. So that would be a significant accomplishment to include the city of Sunny Isles Beach in that number. It enhances operational efficiency and customer service. It also has the potential to reduce insurance premiums, and it has a positive effect on real estate market and safety measures. So, so we did a little, somewhat of a comparison. And on this slide, it shows you, and as City Manager Stan Morris said, I was previously in Hallandale Beach. So in that, actually, Hallandale Beach is the closest in terms of similarity, oh my goodness. Similarity, excuse me. Similarity to Sunny Isles Beach in terms of its geographical makeup, even though they have a significantly higher, single-family populace. But anyway, in looking at the comparison, though, we see that City of Hallandale Beach, even though it has probably twice as many in residents, Sunny Isles Beach is actually doing more with less people, with less staff, which speaks to the high level of burnout that staff is currently experiencing. But as you will see, these numbers show that, and I'll look at the unanswered call rate. There, Sunny Isles Beach had 34%. One thing that City of Hallandale Beach did, we created a call center, and that call center, after the call center was created, it was the missed calls or unanswered calls was reduced to 10%. So there was definitely a higher number of persons being helped, but. So one of the things that we're looking at, recommended steps in addressing the needs, is resource allocation and workflow enhancement. So part of that is hiring more staff, standardizing and automating processes, focusing on permits. We train staff across all departments for consistency and enhanced skills, optimize financial strategies at sites like the Government Center Annex to maximize revenue and ensure consistent returns through projects with steady demand. We also look at the call center and accreditation advancements, establish a well-staffed call center for effective customer communication, where we can leverage technology for superior data management and operational efficiency. We can pursue departmental accreditation. Excuse me. And then we also, number 3, we have future planning and team cohesion. So it's looking at select locations that cater to both current and anticipated needs. We looked at striving for a balance in addressing community demands for parks and buildings, staying up to date on upcoming construction projects to anticipate permit and inspection requirements and ensure all departments collaborate seamlessly, upholding best practices for reviews and inspections. By adopting this comprehensive strategy, we will not only enhance the present operations, but also fortify readiness for future building and construction management challenges. I'm sorry. So, again, I was speaking of, I apologize, I had not forwarded it, but it's the resource allocation, like I said, the staffing and the call center, as well as looking at the new space. So, our staffing needs. The staffing needs should factor cycles, but understand the continuous needs with a continuously aging housing stock and the fact that most of permitting activities involve renovations of existing stock. Personnel will always be needed to maintain and make the processes more efficient. So to address the Senate Bill 4D and the mandates from the state legislature, I am proposing 2 full-time positions, and I've actually discussed this with Clay. So we're looking at 2 full-time positions, a structural and administrative assistant, 1 part-time electrical, and that is for that program. The other recommendation is that we have at least 3 persons for the call center. And that will make the call center redundant so that we will always have sufficient staffing in the call center to ensure that the calls are answered. And then we also need a floodplain manager. And I want to go a little bit more into that particular position because I want to explain to you some of the duties and benefits of having a dedicated floodplain manager. First of all, there's risk reduction. So we're looking at when you have a floodplain manager, you're looking at decreased potential flood damaging, saving on infrastructure and emergency response costs. There's also an insurance savings because once we comply with the FEMA standards, as a part of the community rating system, it reduces the community insurance premiums. We have, of course, access to funding, utilizing the various financial support programs, and enhanced floodplain management beyond minimum requirements. There's also community engagement. These are some of the duties that the floodplain manager would have to perform, would be performing. They will be doing community engagement, and they will educate residents on flood risk. They will encourage proactive property protection. And then there are environmental benefits such as preserving the natural floodplains and reap ecological and financial rewards. And then, of course, they help implement effective building codes as well as staying up to date with floodplain regulations. Currently, this position is filled by a current staff that has a myriad of other responsibilities. And due to the extensiveness and the importance of this particular position, I strongly encourage that the Commission considers creating a floodplain manager position. So I want to focus on the call center. And a call center, it can be incredibly useful for a small municipal service operation, especially when there's a significant volume of people interested in accessing these services. So one of the things the call center will do is that's an efficient information dissemination, because now they will serve as a centralized hub for handling inquiries and disseminating information. The efficiency is crucial for our operation because it will allow for consistent and accurate communication with residents and stakeholders. By having call center technicians, we will be readily available to field and address non-technical inquiries that are now currently being routed to field inspectors and taking them away from their inspections to answer questions that are not necessarily technical in nature. And of course, this creates a more efficient process for all involved. It's cost effective because it's a lower, of course, if the call center staff have a lower wage, then you're paying them less than you're paying your inspectors. So you're going to save money there. Then the focus is that the inspectors can prioritize their technical tasks. The call center will be equipped to handle high call volumes, and there will be more consistency because you'll have regular training, which ensures standardized information, and of course, data insights, because the metrics, as I stated before, will continually improve. Right now, there's a 34% unanswered calls, so we seek to reduce that, thus elevating the level of service. And then there's scalability. When there's a demand for municipal services, such as permit applications or inquiries related to housing inspections, a call center can easily scale its operations by adding more agents or extending operating hours. This flexibility ensures that residents receive timely responses. Excuse me. So, I will move to the recommendation to address all of these needs that I've currently discussed. I looked at several in discussions and just going around looking at different areas. I looked at the several areas for the building department in terms of that could accommodate their spacing needs. The optimal is the government center annex, which was formerly, it's right across the driveway, which was formerly Tony Roma's, but it is the ideal and optimal space for the building department because, of course, it's proximity to the building department. It's 8,200 square feet. Then you also have the potential to reconfigure the spaces where we were looking at and we discussed, because it was a restaurant, and we know that the desire is to have a restaurant there. So having the building department occupy a substantial portion of the existing space, but also including a cafe-style restaurant with seating inside as well as outside. So we would actually get the best of both worlds. We would provide an environment or a space where our building department staff are not creating or not in a life safety, if you will, situation to where they're sitting on top of each other. And we also open the restaurant, takeout restaurant, so that the residents, staff, can enjoy that area as well. So there's also we're looking at the opportunity to increase city revenue, to pay for with the building department paying rent. So you would end up getting rent payment from both the building department and whomever the operator of the takeout restaurant will be. So that is additional revenues that the city will have in their general fund. Excuse me. So the previous rent for the Tony Roma's was $20,000 a month, which was about approximately $29.27 per square foot. The actual, having looked at, done a couple studies with for the real estate, inquiring with locally, the current square foot rate for commercial space is 30 to, well, actually, it's higher. The current rent for commercial space is $40 to $80 a square foot. And what I'm proposing is that the city charges the building department anywhere from $30 to $40 a square foot for per annum. And then we are considering, of course, considering the current market rate in setting the new rent prices. The second option, which was not, it's viable, but it's not as, it's not recommended, was of course the Navarro site. And looking at that, it's just, there's so much that would have to go into it in terms of either having to wait 3 years for Navarro to move or terminate the lease 3 years early, which results in like a $300,000 loss to the city, and then still having to move the building department in someplace else to give them more space. So that was not a great option. So, and then the third option we looked at was the Arcade Plaza, and finding space in one of those, and I believe we know that definitely is not the answer, especially with the parking constrictions that we have there. So,
May I ask a question?
yes, sir.
Did anyone consider the maximum load of the pilings on the City Hall building? Would it support 1 or 2 more stories?
Yes,
Yes,
defer
I'm going
to
to have
Clay.
Clay answer that.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Yes, we had our 2 structural engineers look at that and evaluate that, and the design is not there for an addition of any more floors for the building. Back when we were in the original design of this government space, we looked at that, and they determined not to put that design into the foundation.
So the pilings are not
You
sufficient?
cannot add any floors to this, the present building.
So the pilings are not sufficient?
They're not sufficient. Or the columns, there's not enough efficiency in the design to add 2 stories or 1 floor.
Okay,
Okay.
not even 1 floor.
Not even 1 floor.
So we have the same situation like Gateway,
Very similar to Gateway. Yes, sir.
at poor foresight.
And with that, I am finished. If I will take any questions.
I just wanted to follow up. I have a very brief PowerPoint, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. I just wanted to follow up on what Shelley said. Thank you. So based on this information, apologies for not getting this PowerPoint to you sooner. We literally just finished it up. But as you know, you can tell that we have some definite space needs for the building department. I asked the staff to put together, I know that many of you have already been there, so you've seen some of these existing conditions that we have throughout the building department, but we've expanded in probably every area that we can. As you can see, we've added workstations in every corner. We've reduced cubicle sizes to 2 where previously only 1 existed. And we've reduced walking paths to in the hallways where these are just some examples of our existing conditions. You can see how we have our inspectors and plans reviewers crammed into a space. As our building official and assistant building official can attest to, plan review task is very technical, requires good workspace where one can focus with minimal disruption. The existing working environment is not conducive to that and could lead to inefficiencies. Some common misconceptions that we've heard throughout the years is that going digital would reduce our workload. And we found that that is not correct. It just changes our workload. So even though we are focused on your direction of going totally digital, we're still going to actually have to do the plan review and meet with customers. In terms of that, plans also still need to be reviewed, contractors still need to register, review, and inspections are still performed. Another myth, and this is some of the numbers that we're working on, is that the volume of work slows when there isn't a large new development to work on. This is also not true based on our research. And we've been in the process of looking into the building department. A lot of you have mentioned questions and concerns regarding the building department and how we can become more efficient, how we can become more customer service friendly. So we've worked on some of these initiatives, but this has been something that we've been working on for the past couple of months. As we've added more housing units over the years, we've increased the volume of work on remodels and renovations, not to mention more aging buildings that require recertifications. As an example, we put together that Winston Towers alone had over 2,000 permits applied for from 2021 to current. We have received over 270 permit applications from the individual homeowners at Estates of Aquilina over the past year alone, which, as you know, is essentially a brand new building. We have 270 permit applications just for Estates of Aquilina. And some statistics to follow up on. In 2005, we had 27 employees with only 18,783 housing units. In 2023, we now have 25,589 housing units with over 800 more that have already been approved. So it shows that our workload has consistently gone up, not diminished. So the last direction that I had from you all was that we need to look at potential space. We're too crowded where we are. We need to fix some of these problems that we've encountered. We need improved accuracy and accounting of our building work. We have increased service requirements, permit applications. We have some calls that are going unanswered, even though we do get back with our customers as soon as we can. We have a shorter turnaround time legislatively with some new legislative demands for recertifications that are definitely going to increase our workloads. So based on that and the direction you gave me, the last time we had this discussion was to look at the Government Center Annex building, also known as formerly known as Tony Roma's, and I have reviewed that site with Clay, with our engineer, and we put together a little plan that we wanted to show you of the potential of that property. So what you're seeing in that plan is that would house our current staff and our future staffing needs for the building department. The yellow area, and to the top of the yellow area, is outdoor seating for a cafe. The yellow area would be designated for some sort of cafe that could service our residents, our employees, our visitors, and we would incorporate a takeout window as we've discussed.
May I ask a question? Can you just tell us what Collins is, just for
Okay,
spatial-
sure. In terms of the yellow area, Collins is to the right of it. So the yellow area is kind of, if you remember the old layout of Tony Roma's, it's the bar area. The yellow area looks like the bar area.
Is the yellow right now what currently, and by the way, I'm wearing sunglasses because my regular glasses broke and I can't see.
Okay.
So the yellow right now is what is currently the outdoor seating area, more or less?
No, the yellow area is where the current bar area is. The outdoor seating area is the area that's still existing as outdoor. Is that correct, Clay?
Yes. If you look at on the diagram, you see the tables out in the patio. That's where the awning is right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the Collins is to the
Yes.
right of that.
Okay.
And that, the long part of that restaurant is facing Collins
Oh,
Avenue.
and the yellow is the bar and what was like that extra room that was
Yes.
there, like that party room?
That
Okay.
is correct.
Got it, okay, thank you.
So that is our rough scale drawing that Clay put together that would incorporate some of the staff that Shelley has mentioned that we desperately need for the building department. We would be able to accommodate our walk-in customers in the little area that's adjacent to the cafe. Residents, visitors, let's say parents from the school would be able to walk over and access that little eating space and outdoor area. And then we would also do some modifications to add in some bathrooms for staff and a little conference room where the existing dumpster area is now. But that's the general schematic of what we're looking at for the future for the building department. So with that, we'll answer any questions that you may have.
If I
And
may.
we will, yes, we will also get you a copy of this entire presentation as soon
Yeah,
as possible.
I actually wanted to put that on the record that I had never seen this presentation before until right now. So it's the first time. I never had the pleasure of meeting Michelle before. Nice to meet you. So I am glad that you like our insight and support. I will have to really enjoy participating in this more actively. And now when the final result is ready. Because as I read here, and I'm a little bit confused about what is the role of Michelle, because what I read here is that she's a consultant. For what I understood, she's now part of the staff. So I'm not sure.
We have an opening for an assistant building official that we were unable to fill.
I know.
So we entered into an agreement with Shelley, who is our acting building official now, and she's also a backup to Clay as a building official.
Exactly. So when this essay or assessment was ready, is from a consultant point of view or from part of the staff?
From part of the staff.
Okay. So the starting point is that we have a need because we are assessing our needs, and that as a starting point is very interesting. And I'm gonna use a maybe funny analogy because it's like asking a child, "Do you need more toys?" And it's going to be yes. There is always going to be. And if you ask somebody, you need more shoes, yes. Do you need more space? It's going to be an automatically yes, yes. So this is coming from the inside. And I think we are being also very ambitious when our focus right now is the accreditation, when we are still receiving everything paper. Most municipalities around us in the county, everything is digital, but we still paper, and we are looking and aiming for accreditation, which is a good thing. I just believe we are far away from that. Also, I see that we want to improve our process and efficiencies. Clearly, we are there in the same page. I would like to know also if Michelle conduct this a similar analysis in the past, any other place, any other municipality, because, and also, another question that I have is that how much money do we have right now in the building fund, and how can we use that money? If anybody can answer that question.
Audra, did you come up? Just tell us generally approximately how
Around,
much
yeah.
money. Yes, you don't have to have the specifics. Just tell us generally how much is in that building department fund. Do
I
you
don't
know?
have it with me. I
Okay.
have a combined budget summary, which includes all special revenue, which includes the building. But I can tell you that the budget for 23-24 is most of fund balance. So that's 7.5 million being spent, so you're in that range.
Around 7.5 million. How can we spend that money? Or what is, how is that fund supposed to
I can
be
answer that.
used? And how we got to accumulate those 7.5 million?
I can answer that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This has been accumulating over many years. I think it was poor planning with past administrations that didn't plan ahead for it. But the good news is that now we have a plan to implement it. I've met with the finance team. I've also discussed it with legal. So we have a plan of action for how to implement and use the money going forward.
Can we share that?
This is part of the plan. This is the first step.
So we have to spend it in building. So we start.
It must benefit the building department as a whole, yes.
Correct,
All
exactly. So
expenditures.
that is restricted to it, correct? So this is also a way of
Thank you, Audra.
spending that kind of money. So because we have to spend it exclusively for the building department. So, and that's the issue that I have with the study, because I feel that it's a self-serving study with a predetermined outcome. We have so much money that we have to spend it for the building department. And I think we should not start from that. Also, if we had limited resources, we get creative. And I'm going to give you an example. On the 4th floor, for the last 2 years, there has been, where used to be Kathy's office from the media department, that space is being empty for over 2 years. We have on the 4th floor a west meeting room, that is always empty. And we have a big meeting room as well. In the 1st floor, we have a big meeting room, and also we have the visitor centers, etc. So we have space. We do actually have a space in here in our building. The problem that I see is that we have so much money that we have to spend it. And this is a way of, and I'm sorry if this sounds disrespectful, but it's a way of burning that money. And I feel that I got tricked about the use of the Tony Romas. Because when I was sitting down here, and the recommendation was to not accept any of the bids to make it a restaurant, it was gonna come back to us a few months later for a new bid for a new restaurant. It was never for the building department. So right now, I was tricked to say, oh no, we are gonna reject all those bids at this moment, but we're going to come back with new bids in the future. So I'm completely against this. 99 out of 100 complaints that I get from our residents is related to the building department. And you know that because every time I get one, I always ask them to make it, to write me an email to make sure that it's on the record, and I forward that email to management. I never answer a resident. I always send it to you with the address and the information. I say, we will get back to you with more information. So I know there is a lot of room for improvement. And I know you guys do an amazing job. And I believe that also you guys need more space and to hire the personnel that you need. Tony Romas is not the answer because, again, we are starting from a lie that was supposed to continue being a restaurant, and now you are just shifting. So in this study, the way I see it, is that simply a way to give us the directions that they want to have. And when I say they, is that the staff. And remember, to my fellow commissioners, that everybody talks about how government got so big. This is how government gets so big. Because we don't have here check and balance. We are the final one. We are the link between the residents and government. So if we are only going to say amen, amen, amen to what the staff is bringing us without challenging, so there is not going to be any other check and balance. Like, this is it. Whatever we decide is going to affect all our residents, every single person, and the future generations. So that is why and you guys knew probably in advance that I was going to have this rant, because and I'm going to repeat, it's a self-serving study with a predetermined outcome. We start from the premises that we have a need.
Yeah, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is not self-serving study in any way. The staff had nothing to do with this. This is part of the reason we brought Shelley in as an outsider to come in and do a complete assessment. There was no predetermined notion. I simply met with Shelley and asked her to do an assessment of the building department. She did an exact comparison with Hollandale Beach and did the same assessment there and brought about efficiencies and effectiveness there. This has been in the works for many months, her studying this, and it's not a way to spend money. It's a need that the building department has. Our space is constricted. We looked at this building. We looked at a number of other sites, and this is our recommendation, one that we're going to bring back to you this evening.
Okay, did we consider outsourcing, like the city of Aventura? We are comparing to Highlander, which is the convenience to compare to. Why are we comparing to Aventura, that they're outsourcing the building department? They're very happy, and the public is very happy with the outcome.
We are also looking at outsourcing, yes.
Well, that was not in that study. It was not part of the recommendation. It was not anywhere in the study. So that'll be good also to consider outsourcing. If we have so much money, maybe we should hire somebody, and then we don't need to move. And I'm going to continue saying that the same way that those pictures were presented about how tight they are, next time I can bring pictures of the spaces that they are open and available that we could convert. So if we have, and maybe that is because I'm coming from a third world country where our resources are limited. So we need to get creative, how to use what we have. So we do have a space here. We can accommodate us, or maybe we should start having again the conversation about moving the police department and having them in their standing alone location somewhere, which I think they deserve that. And then the building department is going to have a full second and third floor to move around. So, but right now, like I said, and for me this is personal because I feel that I got tricked into rejecting the bids of Tony Romas just to later on put the building department there.
Any other comments? Commissioner Viscal?
Yes, I had a question and I'll have some comments. The breakdown of the space where we have the, with the cafe and we're only using, I guess, most of the square footage for the building department. I'm assuming that accounts for the for future growth of the department. Is that can?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And so do we, if we go this route, do we anticipate then that the cafe or whatever revenue generating that piece of it, that would be, that would stay, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, and I'll just respond to some of Commissioner Stuyvesant's comments. I don't think I don't think we're asking here if you need more toys. I really don't. I think the pictures are very, I mean, I'm no expert, but I am not wearing my glasses, but I can see that the space is not adequate. I mean, I think that one's an obvious one. And we're talking about professionals. We're not asking them for their wish list, where it's like we've, in part, it maybe, what would be better, but this is not, we know you're good, give us your wish list. There's a clear need here. So I don't think that's a fair characterization of it. And, and you also said, many of your complaints are about the building department. We know there's complaints. I mean, I get them too. I know you get them more because you deal more with that. But I think we're also being presented with a solution. And if I remember correctly, this stems from the space assessment that we started with the police department, because we weren't always intending to keep it a restaurant. We looked at it as initially to see if we could put the police department there, but it ended up not being a good site. So it's been part of an evolving conversation. So to me, this is similar to what we went through with the police department. We knew there were problems, we didn't know how bad. And then when we brought in a consultant, to look at things independently, we realized it was really bad. And going through the accreditation process, ironed out a lot of that. And I like that idea. I didn't know that was possible for a building department. I didn't know that was an option. So I like that idea a lot, and I like that there aren't that many, so it could take us, again, parallel to what we don't know with the police department, we thought, okay, there's some problems, but, it's not that bad. And then when we got to see behind the curtain, it was, to me, kind of a disturbing discovery. So I feel like with the building department, it's similar. You've been working. I don't understand. I don't want to point fingers to the. I don't want to look back. We got to look forward. But I don't think that as a city we've done a good job pivoting from. Okay, at first it's we're young, we're learning, and then we kind of peaked, and then we stayed there. And I don't know when that happened, but in my head it's something like around 2005. Okay, and that's almost 20 years ago. And then things didn't really change from there. The building department, we're like one of the last, in the police department, we were still writing paper tickets. We are just going digital in finance. We're just going digital in building. We just couldn't turn that page. We stayed in 2005 or 2010 or whatever year you wanna pick. And we're going slowly, department by department, tackling these big things. And I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I think we have to, it's a big problem. We have to attack it in a big way. And I think that, adequate space is a minimum request. I really don't have a problem with this. And as long as, and the reason I'm so comfortable with this is because I see the success of the police department, having gone through this process. So anyway, I'm okay. Let me see what else I had. Do we know, should we take this path in terms of staffing? I know we talked about needing some of the higher level people, but would we be able to, and are we planning to then increase staff overall, like we did with the police department?
Yes, our initial assessment, and my plan is to delve into the building department exactly as we did the police department. I feel like we've finally gotten to the point with the police department where we can move forward with the other department. Our public safety was number one, and then I think secondarily was your concerns that you all have brought to me about the building department. So, and that's one of the reasons I asked Shelley to come in, so it wouldn't be staff-driven. It would be more an assessment from a professional with her background, education, and experience. So I think the next step is for us to try to start to make changes in the building department. But yes, it absolutely, based on our assessment of other building departments and our needs, it would include additional staffing.
And with proper conditions, the retention of that staff, because that's happening in our other departments. Part of it was also because before we adjusted the salaries, we had become the training ground for the surrounding municipalities. People would come and, either the conditions weren't great. We have good PR. People think, oh, Sunny House must be amazing. And then they come through the doors, and sometimes not so much, depending on where you are. And we have to make the hype match what happens when you walk through those doors. And I just think that requires an investment, so.
And I think, just to follow up, Commissioner, that in the past, the mindset has been that the building department needs to scale down or reduce. And what we found, what the numbers have shown us, is that is not correct. It's a false way of thinking. Our housing units have gone up. We We have over 200 requests for permits from the property across the street that really is not even open yet. So what we're seeing is, and now with everything that happened with Surfside, some additional legislative requirements that are going to require all of our buildings to have additional certifications and inspections. So the trend is not actually scaling back, it's scaling it up.
And there's going to be a shortage because there's going to be a higher demand for these experts,
Engineers.
like the engineers but the particular positions of expertise, and it's statewide. The demand is statewide, and how do we keep them? How do you attract them, and how do you keep them when they can have their pick of the litter everywhere else? I'm very supportive of this.
Well, if I may, I think it's very unfair to be comparing the police department with the building department, because in 2 years, I think I received twice complaints about the police department. Those were addressed immediately, and many, many more about the building department. So I think we are comparing shoes and apples. They had nothing to do. Plus, nobody wants to address how much space we have already here in the building. You are in the 4th floor with me. You've seen that empty space where Kathy used to be. You see the west meeting room. You see the 1st floor meeting room. We have plenty of space that we can start making those cubicles tomorrow if that's what we need.
But
and
why?
we can start hiring people tomorrow because we can accommodate there right now. Why do you know how sad it is to see elected officials, once they get elected, they forget everything they were talking about. It was never a conversation about turning the Tony Roma's location into another government building. I think that's a disservice to our people. It is a restaurant. It's perfect for it. It was supposed to continue being a restaurant, and now suddenly we're okay with all those empty spaces that you know and I know that we have. Like I said, those pictures, and I'm sorry to say that they are self-serving because we are only showing the pictures that they are proving our point. The point being that we need a new building with everything that is going to come with it. Over the years, it's going to cost millions of dollars to maintain. And I know the building department is making money. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. It doesn't matter. The point is that we don't need it as of right now. We might need it in the future, but also we are considering, I think, and I come back to the same, and I think we should consider moving the police department to a location where they are more visible, where the people can get to them easily, etc. Another thing is we are becoming digital. One big chunk of space in the 3rd floor is for the waiting room, where the people, they come and they have to sit down and wait for their number, etc. Once we go digital, all that space now can be office space. We are always going to need a table for the people, of course, to come with the plans when things are complicated or for big developments like the big buildings on the east side. But if we get a little bit creative, and if we don't think that we have unlimited resource and open check, then we will think different. Why don't we try to imagine, just for a second, just do the mental math, that building is not available? How can we do, what should we do to make their life easier so the building department can be more functional? But why? We don't need to. Why? Because we have so much money, we have so many buildings, we have so much space that we can be just frugal. That's the disservice that I believe we are doing to our future generations.
I think we need a functioning building department much more than we need another restaurant. Much more. And giving them the proper space and the ability to, this is the work that they do concerns our safety, right? So why not give them the best possible place to work in instead of jamming them into random spaces that we do sometimes? Yes, our conference room is empty, but not always. So then what, we're gonna rush them out, or we're gonna meet in the parking lot, or, it's like, if it didn't exist, I agree, well, then we would have to think something else, but it does. And it's an adequate solution to a department that we acknowledge has problems. And how do you address it then? Why are we going to put them in this corner and that corner when we can give them, when it's an important function, and we can give them a space for them to do the important work that concerns our safety? I don't see why that's a bad thing, and, I don't want to go back and forth, but, I'll leave it there.
No, me neither, but I don't think a space is going to make them magically being efficient. I'm sorry, I don't think so.
Commissioner Wama?
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you, Shelley. How long you been with us, Shelley, now?
I've been here since June.
Since June, okay, okay. It'll be good. We have to coordinate a meeting. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
have a chat. So, question for you. So, the drawing that you showed us in the PowerPoint, how many people will that accommodate in total?
That's a total of 30,
30 people,
yes.
okay. So, because right now we have 29 employees, they're all going to be there. What about the room for expansion?
Clay, do you want to?
Yeah, that space is actually for 32 to 33 people.
Okay,
Yeah, so we're expanding, that gives us the expansion to start the new division, which is very critical, the
Mhm.
existing buildings division, with their new state statutes and the
Okay.
changes in the recertifications, and that really are gonna bring that need. And the way we utilizing the space
mhm,
right now, for future use, some of the spaces that we're showing for a plan reviewer's cubicle
mhm.
and inspector's cubicles will be able to be modified to which be able to still
Mhm.
have enough space for
Yeah,
a minimum growth from there.
okay.
Yes.
Now, would the plan be to transfer the entire building department to Tony Roma's, or you
Yes.
still keep some people in this building?
No, we would plan
Okay.
on moving the entire department,
Yeah,
keep us all functional as one.
okay. Now, if we eliminate the cafe from that structure, how many more people could we accommodate? Maybe another 10?
Most likely, wouldn't you agree,
At
Shelley?
least.
At least, right? Yeah, because, I mean, that looks like it was a big portion of
Well,
the
I believe
structure.
that would happen eventually if that were the case.
What would happen eventually?
That
They-
eventually the cafe would be
We would
gone.
outgrow, I mean, we would need that space eventually.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, it looks like right now we need more space because we have 29 and we're still short-staffed. I know that they're still looking for inspectors. I mean, how many people are we short-staffed right now in the building department?
Well, we're short-staffed with an electrical inspector.
Uh-huh,
We have an opening for another full-time building inspector, part-time building inspector. We're have an opening for,
that's 4? Uh-huh,
go ahead. No, yeah, we have an opening for another building inspector,
mm-hmm,
part-time.
mm-hmm. Clay, the mic.
A building inspector, a part-time building inspector. We have an opening for a new part-time electrical inspector, and we
Mhm.
still have an open position for a permanent electrical inspector that hasn't been filled for 2 years.
Okay,
We just filled our plumbing inspector position, so we don't have but when we get the existing buildings division together,
mm-hmm,
we'll probably have an opening for a part-time plumbing inspector.
okay. So we're looking at 5. Right now, we're at 29. We're looking at 5. So that building's already full, and we might even need the cafe space. Okay. Well, we could reconfigure that also, I suppose, right? That drawing. Okay. All right. Then, what else? Well, just to set the record straight, I was always of the position that should be office space, not a restaurant. So that was always my position, and it still is. I mean, I very much believe that we have the opportunity here to address the issue of improving the operation of the building department, to modernize some of the systems that we have or we don't have in place. And then also that will avoid burnout too. I mean, just looking at some of the numbers presented, obviously there was a lot, and there's still a lot of things that are being processed. It is concerning that a lot of calls go unanswered. Now, when you say they go unanswered, what does it mean exactly? Nobody returns their phone calls, or they're unanswered the first time they call the building department?
Correct. So what that means is that, so right now the system, when you call the main number, it'll roll over, but if everybody's busy, then it goes into like a queue. So the calls do get returned. It's just that it may be later. So you're really not getting that real-time response pickup when they first call.
Yeah. And we don't know, we don't have the numbers on when those calls get returned, right? We don't have that response time?
No, that's something we haven't calculated.
No? Okay. All right. And then, obviously, what I understand is that, obviously, the building fund, the monies, it's a restricted fund, so they need to be kept within the building department. Yeah, that's all the questions I have. And yeah, I would like to have a meeting if we could all meet,
Sure.
including you, Stan,
We'll
Clay.
set that up. Yeah.
And,
Chair?
Thank you.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
through the chair,
Thank you, Alex.
two things. I hope that you guys understand that by moving this, because you are talking like it's a done deal, both of you, that you're killing the police department because they're going to have the full second and third floor. So I don't know how it's going to be a way to market a new building department that is going to cost tens of millions of dollars when they're going to have available the whole second and third floor. Or we are just going to grow so much bureaucracy that we are going to start just hiring people to fill those two floors. And not only that, when you two first got elected back in 2018, the budget of the city was $101 million, $296 and $30, 101. Right now, you guys approve $184 million. That's 80% plus since the day you got elected. That is how it happens. That is how we accumulate the trillions of dollars that we have in the federal government. I think that's a shame, honestly.
Well, if we have more money in the budget, that's a good thing. I'm not going to apologize for that, nor am I personally responsible for that. That's just the city working well. I wanted to just mention, just like Alex said that he always supported it as an office, I always supported it as something that would generate rent. So I don't care if it's a restaurant or not a restaurant, or, you know, and I feel like this is like a happy medium, right? Because it solves the problem that we have, which is an odd problem, that you have like these funds stuck there. And again, it's because of not great planning in the past. And again, I don't want to dwell there. We have a solution. I understand that the rent that would be paid would be similar or comparable or competitive to what we would be getting from a restaurant. Or, you know, so, and we're solving that problem. So I think this is a good solution, but I don't want to continue. I just wanted to mention that I always wanted it to be income generating. And if it's on top of that solving a problem, even better.
I just wanted to comment
Oh.
on the budget when.
Thank you.
When us two started.
Please.
It was 101 million, but also we got to keep in mind that capital improvement projects were added, necessary capital improvement projects. So I just wanted to make clear that it is not an issue of us just wasting money, but there was a reason why the budget has, let's say, increased that much. And if you look at the budget book, there's capital improvement that is a considerable amount. attributed to that increase. So just wanted to make that clear. And not for people to understand or think that, it's due to careless spending.
Alex? Okay. So now, if I may ask the questions regarding the elephant in the room, which is the Alamo property. Why hasn't anyone considered the Alamo property?
That's not up to them.
No, I
they're not.
understand
Yeah,
that.
they're not part
No,
of
I
this discussion.
understand that.
We've had discussions regarding legal. We've considered all possibilities. We have constrictions based on a prior poorly negotiated deal
Yes,
that we
I
have to deal
understand
with.
that. But it's
So
time
we would
to-
first have to resolve that situation, and this is an immediate need.
Okay, so let me ask, how immediate is the need? Is it severe, or is it, can it wait 6 months or 8 months or a year? I'm trying to understand for myself, how severe is the need?
Well, it's a need that you have expressed to me that you want resolved. So it's a need that I've been working on now for a number of months, and this is the conclusion of that review and assessment. So some of the offices that we have the potential of being an ADA problem because we have built offices in spaces. There are some offices available on different floors that are also not ADA compliant. So for me, it is a need that needs to be resolved shortly. And this is our plan that we're bringing to you.
So, from my opinion, the city, in the buildings that we've done previously, we've made errors and had no forethought. So I'm thinking that at this time, we need to put our heads together, resolve this Alamo property, and then use the Alamo property for the police department and the building department, and configuring it to match this building, breaking through whatever walls we need to, and having a suitable structure, maybe also with something else included.
I support that.
Vice Mayor, Mr. Manager, may I, just in consultation with Shelley, a couple of things came up. One is the need for going digital, them having the plan reviewers primarily having undistracted office space to be able to actually work on these screens and review plans that way.
Yes.
And then Clay, in what we were talking about in your design, if we did have a long-term solution, such as what Vice Mayor is proposing, the Tony Roma's could be converted back to a restaurant. Is that correct?
Easily, yes.
Okay.
I think the Alamo property it's not on the menu for a reason, right? It wasn't on the menu really for the police station, and it's not being considered here.
Okay, Vice Mayor, we can resume.
Yes. Okay, so I see that it's 5 o'clock, and we usually commence it from 3 to
It's
5,
from
so
3 to
we need to now
4:30.
ask for an extension?
Yeah, just if the commission agrees to extend and continue with the consideration of the remaining items of the agenda, then we can do so.
Yes, so do we need to have,
There's no formal vote, just if you all agree, then we can
yes?
proceed.
So,
I agree.
And I would note we need to move quickly because we still have other stuff on
yes,
the
there
agenda.
are still
We
other
have a few
things.
items.
Okay, so I was just saying that, that the reason that Alamo property is not like on the menu is because for reasons that I still don't understand, it's encumbered. And it just makes it, waiting to solve that, to do anything means we're gonna be stuck for a while. So yes,
Well-
we should address it, but the need is now, the need is immediate. So let's solve the immediate need, and then let's also move on and solve that. I don't have any problem with tackling the Alamo, but I don't think it's a linear thing. I think they need to be simultaneous.
Well, I'm trying to first understand what the severity of the building department need is. And that's what I was trying to get at. Is it that we need it today? Do we need it in 6 months? Or do we need the expansion in a year?
We needed it a while ago, years ago. We did not plan ahead because we expected incorrectly for the number of permits to start to drop off. But in fact, the housing units and the permits have increased. Our statistics have shown over the years.
Okay, but if we have a solution in the works, how usable is the current space into the future?
The current space is not usable for the
Well,
future.
there
It is
are-
not. We have 3-4 people crammed into a space that was meant for one person. As we showed in some of the photos, we have expanded into the hallways. I don't think some of the areas are ADA compliant.
Okay, so how about on the first floor with the meeting room and also the welcome center?
No, we've considered that space. It is not conducive to office space with the high ceilings. That space is used on a regular basis by the library as well as other programming and our staffing.
Okay, and if we were going to somehow work through the Alamo property, then the garage, under garage space would be usable, correct?
No, it would not. It's not viable for office space either. We need that for
But
parking.
it could be enclosed and made into office space.
I mean, there's a number of possibilities for the future, and we're looking at a strategic plan that's going to include Navarro, the future property that we're buying, this site, this property, and we're going to bring back to you a plan that includes, I think, a global look at all of the potential that we have going forward. The good news is that we have some properties available that we could put together a global plan for you, because our Pelican Community Park area also needs to be expanded.
Yeah,
We
I
have
agree with
aging-
that.
Yes, we have some aging facilities. The vision is infinite. We could also look at, we would have a massive campus if we demolish this building, as well as the structures that we have here. And if you included the Alamo property, we'd have a substantial site here where we could build a completely new city hall.
But you would have to have a spot to move into in the meantime.
Correct.
That's similar to what they're doing, I believe, in Fort Lauderdale, the north of Fort Lauderdale, where, right? Alan?
Yes, there's new police departments being
Right,
built, there's
police
new city
department.
halls being built,
Where they actually
and
moved out in order to expedite the construction.
we should be on the forefront of this, being the city of Sunny Isles Beach. We should not be playing catch-up.
Well, that's why I mentioned the Alamo property in order to move us forward, rather than
Yes.
being stuck in a situation. So I think we need to think ahead, rather than just jumping to something that might be a stopgap. Because from what I understand, even if we put our building employees in Tony Roma's, it's going to quickly be outgrown. So I think that is not the best solution. Let's think ahead for once and build a structure that can support the amount of floors that we might want to put on in the future. I know I'm trying to keep buildings on the west side to 6 stories, but let's at least put in pilings to allow for additional floors. If the original building happens to be 4 stories, let's at least overbuild it.
But if we're worried about it being outgrown, then do away with the cafe part. I mean, that was, the cafe was...
Well, even with the cafe
I
part,
get
I
it,
was
but
told that it's
it-
going to be outgrown. So why even start with it?
Because
let's-
of the current conditions where they are right now.
Well, we also need to consider the quality of life for our residents, and we do need another, we need another
Which is not being met by the
restaurant.
current conditions. So while we figure out the Alamo space, we're gonna just keep the current conditions and not
Well,
properly
the
serving the
Alamo space
residents?
may be
That
figured out
doesn't
sooner
fix
than you
anything
think.
either.
But again, we have the first floor. They can move there tomorrow. They don't want it because it's too high, okay. It is what it is. They have it available.
We have
Whatever they're
space in
doing
this
in the first
building
floor,
to
they
use
can
as
do
a
it here.
stopgap rather than the Tony Roma's, which would also be a stopgap.
Exactly. If really they want it, they need it for tomorrow, whatever they're doing in that first floor, they can do it in this place that is used once a month. So let's use what we have if that is the emergency that we have right now. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be working with the right conditions. I want them to have a state-of-the-art
But for once, we
software,
really need to think
hardware,
ahead.
etc.
Tony
But
Roma's
right now,
already,
they can do.
even
We
without
have
the
place.
cafe, we're going to outgrow it.
Can we just, I'm sorry, just one person at a time.
It was the same idea.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So, okay, so right now, I know that they're crammed in the third floor. So that space in the third floor, how many people was it originally intended to house under normal circumstances without 3-4 people being crammed into a space for one person? What's the capacity, I guess, for the third floor?
I've been here 23 years. I'll be glad to tell you a little history about how we got where we're at.
Mhm.
I think that was originally a plan for maybe 20, up to 23, 24 people,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit less
On
than
the
that.
third, on the third
Yeah.
floor, okay.
As a matter of fact, going back, Shelley used to be the structural specialist for the Board of Rules and Appeals.
Mhm.
And she was the one that, the specialist that would come out and check every jurisdiction to see how their inspectors were doing, how they were manpowered, and they would come and ride with our inspectors once a month. And all of a sudden, Shelley started showing up every week. And I called her in my office and I said, Shelley, I know you're supposed to be here maybe once a month, once every other month, but you're here every week. And I said, I think you've been here 3 or 4 days this week. I said, is there something that we need to know about with the Board of Rules and Appeals? And you remember that, Shelley? She said, well, my department's ordered me to investigate your department because you run so efficiently on such a small department compared to other cities. They wanted to know how you were doing it. Mm-hmm. And I gladly let her ride around with my inspectors, and I think she wrote us up for not having enough staffing to the Board of Rules and Appeals back in 2007, 2008.
Okay.
You can talk to her about that.
Mhm.
But our needs now, I just want to say, we definitely have the need. We've always been willing to accommodate for our duties.
Mm-hmm.
We're jammed in. We're falling behind on certain things that we never fell behind on, which is keeping good inspectors.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mentioned our department's become like a training ground. That's true. We've brought in 2 new plumbing inspectors over the last 10 years that are now chief building inspectors for other communities because they had better opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not being discussed here, but I just want to give you a little bit of the history. Yes, we are overcrowded, and we've always been willing to overcrowd to serve the city.
Mm-hmm.
But, and Susan brought up the quality of space for a plan reviewer that has to stay there all day long. Right now, our reviewers and inspectors are a combination.
Okay.
But as the timelines come down for plan review, if you have to get a permit out in so many days now, it's going to give us other requirements that are going to require us to maybe have full-time plans examiners.
Clay, I volunteer my office.
And the ideal location is to have everybody together so we can coordinate back and forth with each other. It's kind of like a nest that we all have to be together while we're doing that process. It's a very sophisticated process to do proper plan review. Okay?
How many people do we have in code compliance? Do you know that on top of your head? No?
I don't. No,
Okay.
not sure.
Okay, maybe
I
that'll
can
be
research
also,
it.
yeah, maybe we can move code compliance to the first floor and give all the space to the building department. We can be creative. If we have a need that needs to be addressed immediately, let's try to be a little bit creative with what we have.
Let's think out of the box until we get the final resolution.
Yeah, we have, and this is our recommendation, and we're going to bring something to you tonight for you to give me direction on. And so you can vote on it and let me know what direction you would like to go to this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion items. 3A is the discussion regarding the construction of a resident dressing type stalls at Sampson Park and wherever else possible.
Mauricio, I have a question. Can we move these items to tonight to our regular commission meeting?
It's up to the commission.
following?
It's up to the commission whether you all
Do
want to
you
do
need
that
a
or
motion
not.
for that? Or
No, it's just a consensus. So if you all agree to do so, you can. If not, then,
Would you like to consider maybe moving the rest of the items to the end of the agenda for tonight?
I'm okay with that. I think that we have some items here, for instance, condemning Hamas and Hezbollah that are part of the agenda.
Correct.
So, yeah, I'm
Yes.
okay.
just-
I need a break. before
Right, I
we
want to
start,
let you
yeah.
all know that we have a full agenda this evening, so just consider that. So
Yes.
please, Mauricio, how would this work from, is it something they need to vote on, or?
So right now, I mean, it's a workshop, so no official action can be taken by the commission. But if you all agree to just recess this meeting and then move these items to tonight's meeting, it would be added on as additional items at the order of business portion of tonight's meeting. I will point out that we do have our city consultant, Paul Abbott, here, who has a presentation ready, and I believe he's unavailable for tonight's meeting.
So maybe we could go with that.
Let's-
In order of priority,
yeah.
we'll go with Paul, and then,
Yeah, let's have Paul speak now, and then we'll move everything else to this evening.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Good, okay. So then
Is everyone
we'll
for that?
consider
Paul?
3E, a discussion regarding the Golden Shores Urban Trail.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for that consideration.
Sure.
I will make it as short and sweet as I can, and I am not here to ask for money. Does that make everybody happy? Now, they're going to ask for money tonight, but that's a different story.
We'll take the win while we can. We'll take the win.
No, I'm talking about the construction side of things. As you well know, we have been working diligently for a year on the Urban Trail project. And we finally, I think maybe with God's grace, we came to an impasse with Florida Department of Transportation. And it caused us to think out of the box. And we've come up with a proposal that we would like you to take under consideration. And that is altering the urban trail. And is there a pointer? Because I realize now I missed something.
It doesn't reflect on the TV, though, so it's useless.
I apologize. I should have given you the previous plan. If I can give you a mental picture, the previous plan, Urban Trail started at 191st, went south to 189th, turned to the east, went out, connected with Collins, crossed 189th, went back to the west, and then continued on to the north side of the Millennium Plaza. The complications of crossing the Florida Department of Transportation right-of-way have become insurmountable. So what we want to propose to you now is, in lieu of doing that configuration, we want to start at 191st, and we want to go straight down the vacated alley to 185th. And that's what's before you now. We will cross 189th Street. We've already talked to the police department, and we are going to take some special precautions. We are going to appeal to FDOT to put in a no right turn off of Collins on Red at 189th, which would help mitigate any potential issues with the crosswalk on 189th, as opposed to being out on Collins. 186, it's not necessary. We don't have that much traffic coming in at 186. So what we want you to take under consideration and hopefully give us direction to move forward is to alter the configuration of the urban trail. We don't need FDOT's approval to do that, and we would like to go forward. Without getting into minutia, we have funds that were budgeted within the Stout undergrounding project for Golden Shores, along with a grant that Susan and Stan's department have gotten us from the state for the urban trail, and we have adequate funds to do what we're proposing tonight. The plan I've given you there is very preliminary. There will be some enhancements as it relates to landscaping, lighting, safety, etc. And one consideration is, and if you'll notice on the sheet with the L-shaped building, which is the Millennium Plaza, because of the configuration of that building, I think it's the second. Yes, the bottom drawing that's on the screen right now, the L-shaped building. We will be going behind that building, and we would be including about 160 foot of privacy fence between the back of that building and the urban trail. They have ingress, egress points back there, emergency. It's not a loading area or anything, but we would want to isolate it from the urban trail. Mm-hmm. So very simply, that's what I have to present to you. I know we don't take action at this workshop, but we would like to start moving forward on that as quickly as we can.
I have one question.
I'm sorry?
Sorry. On the trail, we have good lighting?
Yes, it's a bollard lighting type situation that will provide a safe, candle power lighting, and we're considering numerous safety different devices, cameras, blue lights, there's a myriad of things that are under consideration that will make the trail a safe and enjoyable. Moves pedestrian traffic off of Collins, moves pedestrian traffic off of Atlantic, gets people coming down 191, 185th, 186. I just think, it's an enhanced project. It just is a deviation from what we've been working on for a year.
Yes. It's on the east side of the concrete wall that is there, right?
It's on the east side.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a vacated alley.
Okay, good.
That space along there, and it's a perpetual easement that is there for our use. We still have a couple of little stumbling blocks, but we'll work around those if you guys will give us the go-ahead to move in that direction.
Right. But if we don't make it welcoming, people won't use it.
Correct. But I think it will be. I think it'll be pleasant. It'll be removed from the traffic. It will have appropriate landscaping, nighttime use. It's always been a desirable project in my mind. We're now just making it, I think, just a little bit better. Okay. If I can take just 2 more minutes, and I'll bring you up to speed. Just before this meeting, I had another meeting with Florida Power and Light. We are slowly but surely making progress on Collins. We will be removing the overhead lines in front of the Millennium, not the Millennium Plaza that's reflected here, but the Millennium Building on the east side of Collins in January. We hopefully will have all of the overhead lines down except for a few isolated spots that will be remaining because of equipment issues with FPL by the end of January on Collins, and a couple of miscellaneous spots, which is that Phase 3 area. That's the Atlantic Boulevard behind Government Center and all. But that is progressing. It was stagnated for quite a while, but it's progressing now. Golden Shores undergrounding. Everybody's moving. Had a discussion yesterday and again today with AT&T. They are mobilizing to begin their portion of the work. You know, we do the conduit, they do the wires, and so AT&T has a permit application in to do their portion of the work. Breeze Line is already planning. They have their material ordered. They shortfall throughout the nation on fiber, but they will have it in time to be ahead of the big dog, which is FPL. But FPL, again, same situation. They're responsible for setting the equipment, pulling the conductor, doing the final hookups to the homes, and they are bidding that work right now. We expect to have the results of that bid the 1st of January.
And they've overcome the switch issue and all that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We are. I apologize. I know you guys have been, and the residents of the community have been incredibly patient and all, but we are on the way. Last but not least, Golden Shores, we're going to start the sidewalk portion of the Golden Shores project the 27th of November. Right. If you're curious, there's stakes out there. There are wooden stakes that are outlining the layout of the sidewalk in Golden Shores, and we have extended the length of it to connect it to the park that is over by the Lehman Causeway.
Right. Now that's on Atlantic.
On Atlantic, yes. Right. Atlantic and 191st Terrace.
And that also, that sidewalk is not going to be pervious concrete? That's impervious?
That was my latest understanding, is we're going to go with standard concrete, which we have proper drainage and all to accommodate all of that.
Now, there are certain properties that I would like to point out to Clay that I know we had resolved that on future plans we were stamping that the gravel had to be removed, but we have several properties. Now, how is that going? Are contracts adhering to that?
That's going well. We have a stamp that goes on every plan. Yes.
Right. So are we following up to make sure? Because I know that we have some properties that got caught just, they had already been proceeding, before we started stamping that language. And I noticed that they have gravel in the ground. So I would like to have some type of provision that we can go back, and have these people put in clean fill.
Well, before they can apply for a CO, we will make sure that that gravel is removed. But that is on the plans that.
Right, but there were a few, what I was saying is there were a few structures that got to the CO, just missed our upgrade regarding removal of the gravel.
I'll have my chief building inspector look into that, and if there are some that recently got COs that maybe they weren't on that, didn't have that stamp on the plan,
right,
we can go back and if you know which properties you're talking about, give it.
Oh, I do.
Also, to me, and I'll make sure that we go back and look at it.
Now, also, I noticed that the building department is allowing for removal of a lot of green space and allowing for concrete driveways with the slits where people are putting the faux grass, and where I guess the plan is when they have the faux grass to leave the slits to be soil. Is that the idea?
No, it's.
Or that's also concrete where they glue
it's
down the
for a
grass?
driveway, if it's for a driveway, then.
A driveway?
Yeah, it can be soil.
And but what is the building department allowing for? To have people put concrete and then glue down the grass so it's level with the concrete, is that it?
Well, grass wouldn't be,
No, faux grass.
oh, you mean artificial
Yeah.
turf, yeah. I don't believe we're allowing that.
Well, there are several, and now we have flooding where there shouldn't have been flooding.
Okay, let me look into that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we'll recess and pick it up.
Correct.
6:30.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.